Hi there, and thank you for tuning in to The Social Circus, where every week we dive into a variety of topics covering social media, mindset, and how to run your business. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. Hello, my lovely listeners, and welcome to another episode of The Social Circus. I am your host each and every week, Sarah Thompson, and I am so excited to be talking to you today about Facebook ads and lead generation. Now, this is going to be a nice, juicy topic that I'm going to dive into. But the reason that I've decided to talk about this topic is that I see so many people posting on social media, posting on LinkedIn, talking about the fact that things are quite quiet in their business and that they're looking for strategies that are going to help them to generate leads in their business. Now, if you are finding things quiet in your business right now, please know that you are not alone. Now, the focus of today's episode is not how do you manage things quiet in your business, but I would love to direct you to a past podcast episode. So in episode 103, I have done a whole episode devoted to what to do when things are quiet in your business and how to stay productive and motivated. So if you would like to listen to the episode 103, the link will be in my show notes, or you can go directly to my website, go to my podcast and just scroll down to episode 103. It is a great episode full of really practical, useful tips that are going to help you stay motivated, stay productive when things are quiet. But I do want to just say that it's really common if that's how you're feeling right now. I know that entering 2024, so many of us were hopeful and optimistic that it was going to be a better year after 3 turbulent years of COVID. And of course, we've landed right in the middle of so many macro problems that are causing uncertainty in business. But what we do know that is out there are people searching for us and searching for an answer to a problem. And hopefully we are the ones that can provide that solution. Now, the difference between those people out there existing and them working with us is being able to find us and connect with us. Now, you can use lots of organic strategies on social media and through marketing to help you connect with leads. But the purpose of today's episode was really to focus in on Facebook ads or meta ads. I'm going to call them meta ads because they're transitioning the name at the moment, and it's simply called Ads and Ads Manager. But know that we're talking about Meta as a platform, which includes Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and Audience Network. Now, when it comes to creating ads, if you have listened to any of my past podcast episodes on ads, you will know that I've talked a lot about the fact that Facebook ads have a different role to play than things like Google ads, where Google ads are specifically people looking for a solution to a problem, like I want someone to teach me Facebook ads, for example, and then your results come up. So people are much more closer to that point of purchase, or as we would say in marketing, closer down the sales or marketing funnel. In our meta ads, what we're actually doing is interrupting people with what they're doing, which is typically scrolling, and trying to convince them to buy from us or work with us. Now, the ads that often work best on meta ads are what we call our lead magnet or our top of the funnel ads. And this is where we encourage people to sign up to our email list or to become a subscriber, and we give them something in exchange for that. These ads are tried and tested and we know work incredibly well. But I also want to talk about today the type of ads that are going to generate leads for you in your business. Now, I'm going to give you 3 different strategies that you can trial in meta ads. And it is my sincere hope that these are going to help you generate more leads and inquiries into your business, because we know that once you start to get more leads, you start to get momentum and it gets you into a really positive space. Now, as you would imagine, generating leads is about a conversation or a dialogue, and they can go in different directions. So I can be conversing with you, you can be conversing with me, or we could be having a 2-way conversation. And I want to explain meta ads that are related to lead gen in that respect of which way is the conversation flowing. So there are 3 different types of ads that I'm going to dive into, and I want to help you understand and explain how you would use these to generate leads in your business. So the first type of ad that you would put in front of someone would be a traditional lead generation ad. So this is where you would put out an ad talking about your services and why people would work with you. Now, you can decide what you want to include in this ad. I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty of the actual ad itself. But with an ad like this, a really great way to encourage people to work with you is not to talk about why you're great, but it's to talk about the problems that you solve and the transformation that you create. So if someone was looking to set up, what can I use a great example? But someone wants help with Facebook ads, okay? Then I could put up an ad saying, If you would love to be creating ads in your business that generate leads, come speak to me. I have over 10 years experience in Facebook ads lead generation. Okay. So I've talked straight into their problem. Okay. So when we are trying to get people to book in with us, we need to let them know that we understand their problem and that we know how to help them. And what we're trying to do with an ad like this is encourage them to book in with us. And my advice would be, if you're in a service-based business where you're offering things like coaching or support, or where they're going to outsource their services to you, I would consider a really great destination for that would be someone to book in a discovery call with you. Now, the reason that I say that is because I find by and large, it's very rare that someone would go to my website and book in any kind of coaching with me, whether it's 1 hour or 20 hours, without having had some contact or some interaction with me, because they don't know me, they don't know what my style is. And more importantly, a lot of people come to me, particularly with ads, and this is often the case with us as coaches or mentors, with a very specific problem. Like someone will come and say to me, in my ads manager, this is broken. My pixel's not connected. Can you fix it? Now, it would be my preference that someone booked a discovery call with me so that I can say to them, show me what's going on. And then I'll say, yes, I can definitely fix that. Okay. Because then I feel like people haven't wasted their time and money paying for me if they're not sure if I can solve their problem. And to be fair, it's really reasonable that we can't solve everyone's problem all of the time. And I will always give a really honest answer to people if I'm looking at something and I'll say, look, I'm not certain that I can fix that, but let's book an hour with me. And if we don't get it fixed, I'm happy to refund you. So that's up to you how you manage that in your business. But my recommendation with your first type of ad is to get people to book a discovery call with you. This allows them to get in touch with you and that flow of communication to be from your potential lead coming inbound into your business. Okay, so that's the first type of communication, is when it's inbound into our business, where they are initiating the contact and they are the ones that want to work with you. All right. So on the ad itself, as with everything, and if you've listened to any of my past podcast episodes when we talk about meta ads, I talk about testing all the time. You can test different creatives, you can test different audiences, you can test different landing pages. But what I would suggest to you that you do is you want to be very clear on that you demonstrate you understand people's problems and how to solve them. Giving things like social proof in the form of testimonials is also incredibly helpful. The last thing I want to say about that is, because someone is booking you and contacting you, please ensure that you test things like the booking link, test the process of, if I book in with you, do you have availability in your calendar? And not in 1 month's time, but obviously within the next week. So there are always lots of background work that you want to get done whenever you are setting up an ad. And I say this because I have worked with people and we go to click on something, I'm like, but there's when I go to book, it's not working, or when I go to do this, it's not working. Please, please, please make it a priority whenever you are setting up an ad to test the landing page, the link, the way in which it makes the confirmations, all of those things, because that is what is going to make the process of you putting up an ad to actually generating leads really, really successful. So always testing every component of it. And most importantly, testing it on a mobile, because that's where most of your activity is going to happen, is on people's mobile devices. So that's our first type of lead gen ad, is where the communication is inbound into our business, where someone is booking a discovery call. This is a pretty standard type of meta ad, so it's hopefully is familiar to all of you. Now, the next type of ad that we're going to be looking at is one that would involve us contacting them, or outbound communication. Now, this can be done in a variety of ways through meta ads, and it can be as simple as someone filling out a form on your website. And when I say that, please don't send them to the contact form on your website. Create a new page on your website that says, are you interested in connecting with us? Please fill out your details and we'll get in touch. Now, with something like this, the onus is then on you and your business to contact that person and to follow it up as a lead. Okay, there is no point in collecting somebody's information if you're not prepared to contact them. Now, I want to give you a little bit of extra information when we're talking about outbound communications. When you are collecting information, please collect the minimum amount of information that you need, and please collect information that you're going to actually use. So unless you are going to call me, do not collect my mobile number. Unless you're going to email me, do not collect my email address. Now, again, only you know in your business what methodology works best, but here's what I can tell you we know in marketing has worked. Picking up the phone and ringing and speaking to someone is most likely to be the most successful strategy to convert someone from a lead into booking in a discovery call or booking coaching or one of your packages with you. So if that's not something that you're great at, I would sincerely recommend you get someone on your team, and you can actually pay like a VA or an assistant or even a sales expert. You can pay someone to work for you to do those outbound calls if that is not something that you feel you are good at. But what you want to make sure is if you're outsourcing that, they have a really strong knowledge of you and your business. So if the potential lead asks, can Sarah help me with X? They know the answer to that. I will say making outbound sales, like booking calls, is one of the hardest things that you can do in your business. But I promise if it's something that you try and have a go at, it will get easier, all right? But it's something that we often avoid because I don't want to do that. It feels hard. But imagine how good it feels when you look at your calendar and it's full of clients, full of bookings, and the money is flowing in really, really consistently. So we have to sometimes push through our own reservations to ensure that we can grow our business and keep it being successful. So sending someone to a page on your website to fill out a form is a really great idea. But in terms of meta ads, my recommendation would be to use a lead form or lead gen ad within Facebook. Now, a lot of people haven't used these simply because they go into Ads Manager and they see all the different types of ads, and they don't realize that Facebook has built into its Ads Manager platform a lead form. Now, that is simply a form that you set up that will take specific fields of information and allow you to do that outbound connection with that potential lead. Now, the research is pretty definitive on lead forms on the Meta platform, that it converts at a much higher rate than if you send me to a form on my website. Even though I might be asking for exactly the same pieces of information, it will convert at a better rate. So my recommendation is if you haven't tried lead form ads in Ads Manager, please give them a go. I use them intermittently in my business if I need to generate more coaching business. But what I will say is they're highly effective. And what, again, it allows you to do, and the reason it works so well is because when people are on Facebook or Instagram, whatever platform they are on, if they click on a link that takes them outside the platform, people have a certain degree of resistance to leaving the platform itself because it's like, well, I'm kind of enjoying scrolling my feed, or I'm kind of enjoying doing this, what I'm doing right now. And this is why the lead form embedded into Ads Manager works really, really well, because what it does is it pops up on my phone whilst I'm in Facebook or Instagram, and it actually pre-fills the form with my personal information. So it pre-fills it with my Facebook profile, which is Sarah Thompson. It will put in my email address, put in my phone number. And again, not to say this is you, but we know that people are increasingly lazy and increasingly don't want to make too much effort. So if a form pops up in front of me, like, am I interested in finding out about ads coaching? And a form pops up in front of me and all I have to do is press submit and all of my details are pre-filled. It could not get any easier in terms of, well, why wouldn't I do that? That's so easy. I can definitely give that a try. I'm going to have a go at that. Okay, so keep in mind, lead forms are a really interesting way for you to generate leads, but you must be prepared to do the work to make that outbound communication to that potential lead. And I know that for some people, this feels really, really scary, but I want to encourage you to do this because the more you can generate more skills in your business, like being able to make outbound lead calls, the more confident you're going to get to run all aspects of your business. So that's really, really key for you to think about that. So that's our second type of lead gen ad, is our lead form ad, where you send someone to fill out a form embedded in your Facebook or Meta ad. The final type of communication or ad that we're going to talk about is a two-way communication. So this is where you can instigate the conversation or they can instigate it, and where you can have a back and forward conversation. And there's one very easy way in which you can do this through Ads Manager. I should say actually two, but they're both messaging platforms. So as many of you will know, Meta as a company own two messaging platforms. One is called Messenger and the other one is called WhatsApp. Now, if you run a Meta ad, you can have as your ad objective that people message you. So this can be done through WhatsApp or Messenger. The choice is yours. But the way in which this works feels like less scary and less daunting than actually picking up the phone and ringing and speaking to someone. And it feels a bit like you're a bit more in the driver's seat than just sending someone to book a discovery call. So it's very much a middle ground between the other two types of lead gen ads. And with messaging, you can make that a hybrid. And by that, I mean within the messenger, and you can set this up inside Ads Manager, you can actually have some auto-created questions and answers. So they're all automated. So the first thing people can ask is, how much does it cost to coach with you? When is your next availability? So those kind of common questions, which allow people to self-select, can be done straight away. And then you can actually duck into the messages and be yourself as like Sarah, the business owner, like be yourself and say, hi, this is Sarah here. Thanks for making your way through the automated questions. I would love to help you and see if we're a good fit. Do you have any specific questions or struggles that you would like me to answer for you? Okay. So you can use that automation, and you can also use yourself as an actual human being that can show up and start having conversations with people. Now, what we do know is that the longer people converse with you, the more comfortable they get with the situation. And we also know that it feels really scary to book someone through a Facebook or an Instagram ad. There is still a degree of trepidation, like, are they a legitimate business? Is she actually going to show up if I pay her the money? All of those fears that people have. So by having that two-way dialogue back and forward, you can really iron out any of their fears. And at any point during that messaging chat that you're having, you can say to someone, hey, should we just jump on a Zoom and have a quick chat about what it is that you're struggling with? Or would you like me to send you some emails direct to your inbox? So you can take the conversation from being a messenger or WhatsApp chat over to emails, over to doing video messaging. There are lots of ways in which you can kind of elevate the degree of which you're having that messenger chat. So those are our three main types of ads that you're going to use for doing lead generation in your business. Now, it would be my recommendation that you have a think about what ad would best suit your style of business and would suit your personality. So if you have never picked up the phone and had a conversation with someone about your business as lead generation, that is probably a scary place to start, okay? If you kind of love discovery calls and do them really regularly and consistently in your business, the first type where people book in with you would be great. But for my money, I think the two-way conversation is a really powerful thing to try. And now we have two platforms with WhatsApp and Messenger. This can be a really strong way for you to have great in-depth conversations with people so that they feel like they know you, they can trust you, and that they have confidence if they book in with you, you're going to be there to help. But there is a pretty big caveat on the messenger ads. You need to be available to answer people's questions on your messenger ad. There is no point in setting up an ad like that and then going off on holidays and being offline for a week, because people will send you messages and in a week's time, they've forgotten that they sent you a message, they've moved on, they've found someone else to help them, and that lead has then gone cold for you. So remember, you want to keep people really warm and you need to be available to do that. It is really reasonable not to answer messages at midnight, but during general business hours, you should certainly be available to respond to people. So if that's something you don't feel like you could commit to at the moment, then don't go for that strategy. But for my mind, the Messenger WhatsApp ads are a really great way for you to connect with people, to turn those leads into warm leads and hopefully into paying customers. So I hope that you have enjoyed today's podcast episode, that you have got lots of ideas on how you can start generating more leads in your business. Remember, whenever you're doing anything with ads, the secret to success with them is always testing. So give yourself plenty of time and a little bit of budget to test different ad creatives, to test different audiences, and to see what's working for you and for your audience in generating leads. Remember, you always want to be tracking everything that you do. So if you decide you wanted to try all three of those lead generation strategies, you want to make sure you've got a spreadsheet saying, here's my 3 different ads, here's what they're costing me, and here's how they converted, because that's what's most important. And even though something like a lead gen form might be the lowest, say, cost per click, CPC, they might actually not convert very well. And there can be lots of reasons for that. But if you are not tracking and monitoring all of your different ads, your different iterations, and your different levels of testing, there's no way for you to move forward within your business because you don't know what worked for it. So I sincerely hope that today has you inspired to be trying out ads and to be trying out ads to generate leads in your business, because I know that it can feel hard when you're sitting there and things are quiet, and this can be a really great way for you to be generating more leads in your business. So I hope you found today's episode helpful. Thank you for listening into the Social Circus. And as always, you catch me the same time every week. Thanks again for listening. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Social Circus. As your host, Sarah Thompson, I am thrilled that you've chosen to spend your time hanging out with me. I would be so grateful if you could spare an extra moment to go and leave me a review on your favorite podcasting platform. And if you even felt more excited, you could share my podcast with your friends who you think would get great value from it. Thanks so much again for tuning in.